Welcome, Patchwork Monoceros. Thank you so much for being here today. I would love if you could introduce yourself.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, Courtney. You can call me Patch, and I'm a poet and a writer and an artist who works with all sorts of different mediums, textiles and film and things like that. Yeah,
Love that. I would love if you could tell us what your book is about.
yeah. So it's a collection of collected poems written over the course of about a decade or so in my from early 20s to about 30. And it's a lot about grief and memory, disability, chronic illness, things like that. But the kind of uh, impetus and like overarching theme or whatever is kind of healing from the loss of my mom when I was a kid. Mhm.
Amazing. What inspired you to write your book?
So yeah, I've been writing poems since I was 9. I actually found my first poem the other day, and definitely wrote a lot more for sort of like therapeutic reasons when I was younger. And as I got older, kind of started, investing more in craft and learning things about form and finding ways to put emotions in it without it having to be like the carrier of the whole weight. Um, so yeah, I was on a filmmaking residency, struggling with filmmaking about an idea that I had, and so thought I would return to my poems and hang out with them for a bit, and that's kind of how the collection started to come together.
Love that. When you were writing your book, who were you thinking of when it comes to who your book is for?
hmm Um, so yeah, so I'm a Black person, I'm trans agender person, I'm chronically ill and disabled, um, and a lot of my close connections and like chosen family and things like that are also shared identities like that. And a lot of my book is written for them because it was a very you know tumultuous journey, sort of like entering disability in the way that I did in my 20s. So it's for folks like that. It's for folks who've experienced grief of any kind. I know when I was growing up, it was really hard to see myself in any of the grief or healing books and stuff that were recommended. So yeah, for like other folks, marginalized folks and grieving folks.
Love that. And I know you touched on this next question, but how long have you been writing and what made you really sit down and start?
Yeah, I had a really yeah. So I started writing when I was a kid, and I shared this story before, but I my first experience of sharing a poem with someone was this poem I'd written about my mom, and I had a lot more things I didn't know about her at the time. So it was, um, yeah, like a lot of questions, and it was very sweet and rhyming and stuff like that, and very sort of matter of fact about her death, which is just sort of the way it's always kind of come out for me. And I shared it with my grade 4 teacher, and she burst out crying in the classroom. Um, I have such a vivid memory of standing under her and like looking up at her holding the paper and like trying not to cry. And yeah, and so I kind of knew that that was like a possibility, was something that came out of my hands for a while. And then I had really lovely English teachers and creative writing teachers in high school. And in my first year of university, I did English and theater studies. I was in a group, like collective feminist poem thing that we wrote ourselves. And so uh, wrote kind of a first intentional poem to share as an adult for that. And then kind of just kept learning from there.
Love that. What is your schedule like when you are writing a book?
Yeah. So among some of my other identities are that I'm neurodivergent, and that has shows up in ways of being really hyper focused about things sometimes. So I'm kind of always writing a little bit. Like I have a journal. I do a lot of voice notes. I just like take a lot of notes and stuff to myself if I'm observing things. But when I'm kind of in like focused practice mode or something like that. I kind of prefer like middle of the night uh, hyper focus times. But yeah, that's kind of like yeah, with disability and chronic illness, I kind of just take it when the time and the pain let me.
Love that. What do you need in your writing space to help you stay focused?
hmm Um, Comfort. I need to be able to, yeah, be sitting somewhere comfortable, have any braces that I need on my wrists and things like that. Um, I need to kind of be coming at it a little bit intentionally or like a little bit with like mindfulness that I might be writing about hard things. I'll have fidget stuff around. Um, and yeah, I like having everything sort of as sorted as I can. So if there's kind of like an outlying task, it's hard for me to focus. But yeah, comfortable things, a place to like move around a bit, somewhere to write things down. If I'm doing keyboard work, so I'll just have an idea and want to do that. Um, but yeah, also I really love writing in a journal, like outside. I find it's a lot quieter outside than it is inside a house because of sensory things.
Love that. What is your favorite writing snack or drink?
I love black tea. Yeah, drinking that right now. Um, I love yeah, having something warm to put my hands against so they, don't get too sore. Um, and my favorite snack berries, I'd say right now, I'm really into Skittles, but I'm trying not to eat like whole bags of Skittles at one time. And I like a salty corn snack kind of thing. Yeah.
Love that. What type of books do you personally enjoy reading?
I really love graphic novels and comics. Like especially like the autobiographical ones. I like science fiction ones too, but I like reading about folks' lives in that way. Um, I love reading uh, kind of like hybrid poetry or like poetry that plays with the page in different ways. Um, and yeah, memoirs and things like that.
Amazing. Are there any books or authors that inspired you to become a writer?
Audre Lorde, for sure. She was one of the first like queer Black people, creator people I was introduced to. And her her work, how she lived her life, how she lived with her illness, things like that have always been really inspiring and humbling and sort of like grounding for me. She's always someone I kind of go back to. So she's definitely a huge inspiration. And um, yeah, with more contemporary folks, I really like Akweke Imezi. I really love their work. Um, their first novel is Freshwater, and their poetry collection is On Tent Morning Everything. Um, yeah, there's other folks. Joshua Whitehead, I love. Just like look at my bookshelf, thinking of people that I like, love reading. Um, I love, yeah, Dene Smith is another poet I really like. Yeah.
Amazing. What books did you grow up reading? Did you have an all-time favorite?
So I am a weird person and was a weird kid. So when my friends were reading, like I did read Babysitter's Club and didn't read Boxcar Kids that much, but Goosebumps was a big deal. And the really tragic adolescent stories of Lurleen McDaniel were like prime literature for me for a few years. So I really, really loved reading these like overly dramatic stories about dying teens for all sorts of reasons. Um, and I read a lot of vampire fiction. I read a lot of sort of like outsider fiction. So like um, women from like a couple hundred years ago, or like Jewish novelists, or like I didn't really have as much experience exposure to like Black and BIPOC um, authors when I was younger growing up. But yeah, kind of started to invest in more in that the more I got exposed to it.
Love that. On the opposite side, now as an adult, what are your favorite series or authors that if they come out with something, you automatically grab it?
Yeah. I love N.K. Jemisin's whole everything. I love her uh, imagery. I love the voice of her characters. So yeah, anything that she comes out with, I'm like trying to gobble it up, or at least like have it nearby. Um, and Brian K. Vaughan and Fiona Staples write a comic called Saga. It's a, it's his last year this year, but over the past 10 years, yeah, anytime like a new issue comes out, or if someone is adapting their work, I'm really interested to check that out. Um, like I said, Ekweke's work I really love. Creative friends too. So
Love that. What would you tell someone just starting out with reading again?
mm, um, hold no judgments for what you're drawn to. Um, yeah, so I think there's even still like, there's, so many more ways of reading and things like that. There's still a lot of judgment around certain genres or ways of writing, ways of writing. And um, I think audiobooks are sort of contested. Some people think, well, if you didn't hold the book in your hand, then it doesn't count. And I love audiobooks. I think they're such an accessible way to get into things. So if you like podcasts, if you like the radio, if you're listening to this, try audiobooks. I and you can really build cool relationships with audiobooks as well. Like there's like certain readers that I love listening to and things like that. So yeah, that might be a good way to start.
Love that. On the opposite side of that, what would you tell someone just starting to write their own book?
Mhm. So I actually had a really, really amazing recent residency experience, a virtual residency with Anaphora Literary Arts for BIPOC writers, and received this wisdom, and we'll pass it through. And Don't start out naming the thing and then writing into the thing. Write it and then see what it is. So, as opposed to, I'm writing a this kind of memoir or I'm writing a poetry collection about this. If you're feeling excited about or drawn to or inspired by something, just write that thing. And then when you feel written out, decide what it is. And then that's the editing and the shaping after.
Love that. That's so amazing. What's one thing that people are generally surprised to find out about you?
Hmm. Um, that I am not that chill of a person. I'm actually really frenetic and anxious, and I move around a lot. And um, yeah, portray a very like easygoing person, and there's truth to that. But I'm a lot more like than I'm not. Hmm.
Love it. Is there anything you would like to say or add?
um, so yeah, I'm really excited that my book is in the world now, and I hope that it finds the people that it was meant for and people it wasn't meant for. Um, and There's a lot of wisdom contained in disability writing and disability community, and we don't always get the same amount of um, uh, sort of like press or like uplifting or things like that because of all sorts of discriminatory reasons and systems. So yeah, like seek out disabled folks, seek out disabled writers, amazing blogs, um, and yeah, and you'll find more amazing books, more amazing books.
Love that. Where's the best place for readers to find your book? I know some readers love signed copies. Is that an option and the best place to connect with you?
Yeah, so you can get the book from radiantpress.ca, their website, and just yeah, you can just order it from them. And then for signed copies, you can reach out to me through my website. Um, yeah, so you can just do the contact page there, and then yeah, we'll work it out.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for being here today. We're so grateful that we got to interview you. We'll be sure to drop those links in the show notes. That way everyone can find you. And again, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Sorry for the disconnections. It was so nice to chat. Yeah, and thank you for inviting me to be here.